What's up, everybody? Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming here, and yes, this is a follow-up to my spoiler-filled review of Mortal Kombat, but this is regarding the character of Cole Young, and I have a lot to say about Cole Young. Actually, more than anybody has probably ever talked about the character or actually given him a chance, because unlike most of the Mortal Kombat fandom, I gave Cole Young a chance. First, let me refresh people on who Cole Young is. Cole Young is an original character created for the Mortal Kombat 2021 movie and appeared in the sequel and dies in the sequel as a form of course correction or as a form of basically fans hijacking what the director wanted to do for a character and just made the director submit to their will, which is sometimes a good and a bad thing to let fans have input. But with Mortal Kombat fans, it's very finicky because Mortal Kombat fans, I noticed one thing about them. This is just a quick side note. They only care about what they want to happen in the story of Mortal Kombat, or for their favorite character to succeed, not succeed, or to go through. So basically, if you gave a Mortal Kombat fan the chance to write a movie to say, alright, create the first tournament, follow the video game, have everyone fight on Shang Tsung's island, have Shang Tsung defeated, right? For example. But what if the fan writing the movie says, well, Johnny Cage is my favorite character. I'm going to write it to where Johnny Cage defeats Shang Tsung. Will there be outrage? Probably not. Probably not. But let's say if a new character like Cole Young did it, there would be outrage beyond belief. So, the reason why I can vouch for Cole Young is his existence as being an original character is not new to the Mortal Kombat universe. Hell, it's not even new to the Mortal Kombat films. Let's go all the way back to the very first Mortal Kombat film, and you remember the character of Art Lean, right? Art Lean was an original character there at the tournament. Pretty sure he clearly did pretty well throughout the course of the tournament off screen to make it up to Goro, right? But what was his character there for? To basically die, to emphasize how evil and how powerful Shang Tsung is and Goro, and give Johnny motivation further to try to take down Goro. Okay, fair enough. But there's one way, and there's actually a in-universe reason for Cole's existence. There's actually a lot of inverse universe reasons, both outside the games, inside the games, and a little in between. I want to break down, before I talk about some other stuff relating to, like, say, the story, his connection with Scorpion, things like that. Before we get into that, I want to dive into his abilities and power sets, because that is very unique to every Mortal Kombat character. Every Mortal Kombat character has their own set of skills and their own set of powers that make them unique and stand out among everyone else, which is why we like them. Sonya with her telekinetic ring powers shooting out of her wrists, Liu Kang with his Shaolin Fury fires, Kung Lao with his teleporting bladed hat, Jax having magical mechanical arms, Johnny having green mystical energy. You know where I'm going with this. Every character has different abilities that makes them stand out. And Cole's powers and sets of abilities are actually pretty cool. And actually they fit very much within the universe of Mortal Kombat. Here, let me make a connection to you between Cole's powers and something mechanics that exist in the video game. When we go from Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 to Mortal Kombat Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 4, MK, now every MK game going forward past Mortal Kombat 3, notice the existence of either an aggression bar, an Akana bar, an energy bar, or whatever, all the way up to MK11, where you have a defensive bar and an attack bar. But notice that these bars throughout all the games, they've done something different in each of the games. Some triggered the X-ray mechanic, some would enhance your special attacks, some would enhance your defense, and some would allow you to take your attack, your opponent's attack, and distribute it back to them with their own force behind it. And gee, that sounds a lot like Cole's armor and powers. Also, if we jump all the way to Mortal Kombat Armageddon, the concept of a character receiving a power boost in armor format, like an armor taking over their body or wearing it, is Taven during his quest in Armageddon to collect the items left for his father to help him go defeat Blaze. What did we get in the game at Sub-Zero's Ice Temple? A suit of armor created through the energies of a god, or basically supernatural energies. What does Cole's power represent? He can take enemies' attacks, distribute it back, manifest his own form of flame energy due to him being connected to the bloodline of the Shirai Ryu. And also, I actually liked the concept of the Scorpion storyline, where Scorpion's line is now good, and he is a good guy, just fallen, and has to be a Hell Spectre to redeem his family. Now, after Mortal Kombat 2 has ended, I got the feeling where they're going to take Cole is either he's going to become a resurrected version of himself called Kenshi, or he might become the next Scorpion Hell Spectre, very similar to how they took Kuai Liang and made him Scorpion in the MK1 New Era timeline created by Liu Kang. And that's also how Cole's existence should be accepted and natural to the universe because of the existence of MK11. MK11 deals with time travel and multiversal galore. When you think about it, you could count the film universe as one of the many possibilities of Kronika's hourglass. You know, one of the branching timelines that always led to Armageddon. You know, we have video game versions, we have comic book versions, graphic novel versions, animated movie universes, which one animated movie actually shows you an alternate future if Kano won the Kronika Hourglass powers. So, a lot of the hatred towards Cole, when you really look at it, it's just nitpicks after nitpicks after nitpicks that just get accumulated to be turned into criticism. And me, I just can't let it function that way, because nitpicks don't equate to criticisms. And especially if you build them up, that's kind of, you know, if you can't come up with anything more than what everyone else says about what they don't like, if it all sounds similar and not different, then it's just simple regurgitation. I don't fucking care. It's late when I'm making this video. Whatever. Regurgitating the same points over and over again instead of actually having an original idea of to why he is disliked and hated. Now, he was not as overbearing and annoying like people made him out to be either. See, the thing about Cole, another reason why he exists, and this is more the realistic reason besides the in-game universe reasons, modern audiences, especially the casual moviegoer, are just dumb. They're stupid, okay? And Mortal Kombat, which initially doesn't even have a complex story to begin with, the only 2 games in the series that actually scratch that. There's actually 3 games in the series that tries to even tell you story, like tries to create a cohesive narrative within the confines of Mortal Kombat, and that is the rebooted trilogy of MK9, Mortal Kombat Shaolin Monks, which is a remake of Mortal Kombat 2, but in an action-adventure sense, and heavily expands on MK2. And out of all games I'm about to say right here, is Mortal Kombat Mythologies Sub-Zero, which is structured as a single-player adventure narrative. Notice, those three games are the only games where there's any kind of actual, where the story is front and center of everything. Now, Cole's story is that of the everyman, where we're down on our luck and something, something calls us to something to be better and higher than ourselves, basically being your fellow man or whatever. The concept of people can believe in the common man achieving more than people that are prophesized and destined, And a lot of people have to calm down with saying that, a lot of people were saying, oh, Cole was going to defeat Shao Kahn in the original scripts, or he was going to be the victor of Mortal Kombat. Notice how none of that was true. They gave him the villain of Sub-Zero, which is not only his villain, but Scorpion's. They gave him a decent character to use his powers on, being Goro. So, a lot of just, when you rewatch MK 2021 and then look back at this one as well, what they did to Cole kind of destroys the first movie. It destroys the first movie because now there's no resolution as of yet about his wife and daughter. You at least need to just find a way to close it out. Hell, you didn't necessarily have to kill him in this movie. They could have just had him be defeated, and then when he was defeated, he just went back to his wife and found feeling like, okay, I served my part in the tournament. I got to leave with my life, at least. So I'm just going to go back and stay with, he's going to go be with his wife and daughter unless he's ever called or needed again. Like, you could have literally just had him go off. You could have left it open-ended to give people time to be like, okay, maybe they were too harsh on Cole. And once I hear people using examples saying that Mortal Kombat Annihilation is better than 2021 because of Cole and MK 2020, yeah, because then I know people are being fucking crazy and they're just saying anything to try to be the oddballs out and trying to be like, okay, everybody's universally praising this because it's a fun movie and it's pretty much beat for beat what a Mortal Kombat movie should be. No, we need to be the odd one out and say, oh no, we always loved Annihilation. Nothing will be our dated 90s movie. Because look, I love the 90s movie, but I'm sorry, the 90s movie was not Mortal Kombat. Real Mortal Kombat. It was the Super Nintendo, basically no blood, only sweat, glands of sweat flying everywhere, Mortal Kombat. That's what it was. Mortal Kombat 2021, though not the best MK movie at all, like not the best by far, I think the best one of all Mortal Kombat media I've seen is Mortal Kombat Scorpion's Revenge. Yes, Scorpion's Revenge is a amazing animated Mortal Kombat film. My favorite game in the series, Shaolin Monks, without a fucking doubt. Okay? So, I feel like they should have handled Cole, especially, they should have introduced us to him via the games as DLC. And before I heard people say, well, nobody would have bought Cole, he would have been a waste of money. See, if I was a developer, I would have shadow dropped him as a free character, so whether people wanted him or not, he was downloaded into the roster and he would already be in the game. And then people will say, well, then nobody would just use him, That's a lie. When people say they're not going to do something, or they're not going to play this, they're not going to watch, they're not going to cap, because they will, because your curiosity is going to get the better of you at some point, and you're going to be like, alright, let's just test him out. I feel like if you would have just introduced him as a free fighter and gave people more, more time to warm up to him with in-character dialogue, getting a chance to actually play as him and get a feel for him, because they could have given him so many unique attacks and abilities. He already had a unique power set. And like every Mortal Kombat character, well, when weapons got introduced, he at least has his own weapons, which was a bladed sword, like almost like one was a regular tonfa that he had in his arm, and the other one was like a bladed tonfa. So this is what I always feel, that when fans say we want something original and you give them something original, they hate it. But then when you give fans an accurate or 100% what they request, they still hate it. That's why it's so hard to give fans anything at all, because no one hates a franchise, sadly, more than the fans themselves. And it's the same with Mortal Kombat. You have people like toxic parts of the fandom trying to say that some characters are better than others, or one character could solo this. Like, yes, you have those in this community. And for the past 4 years, as I have rewatched Mortal Kombat 2021 and have sat down once in the theater and 2 more times at home on a website where I get movies done in newer releases get rendered in HD, but I'm not going to spoil the website just so I don't cause it to get shut down. But I really warmed up to Cole Young, and this is one of the cases where what they just did to him was, it wasn't, his death was an excuse to just show, yes, how powerful Shao Kahn was, but the death wasn't to just please the fandom. It was just disrespectful to do that to him, because the guy Louis Tan seems like a really nice guy, and he really cared about his character. And, I feel for the dude. Everybody should have given him a chance, and before people say, oh, he was given it, no, nobody gave him a chance. No one gave him an honest chance. And whatever chance people thought they gave him, they only want the chances for people to like him. Like, if people say, oh yeah, we like him because he died, then that's not a real reason nor a valid excuse. I've just seen nothing but excuses when it comes to Cole. That's all it is. I think these are just nitpicks and excuses that people just pile up together to try to make it feel like they're justified in hating him, and basically had his death signed from the very get-go. Like I said, if I was the director, yeah, I would make the trailers seem like he was gonna die, but nope, I would not have killed him. I would have had him defeated in a different way and have another character like Jax be used as somebody to show off Shao Kahn's power, because Jax is a real big fellow. So that's what I would have done. But I hope maybe they can course correct, and there is a couple ways you could bring Cole back. You could either bring him back as this universe's Ermac, you could bring him as this universe's Kenshi, or he becomes a Revenant. Those are the only 3 ways that you could probably bring him back. Or if you do bring him back if you do the invasion storyline, because you could theoretically, even if his head was smashed in with the hammer, which it was, he could still be in a way reconstituted. And with Quan Chi there, yes, it's possible. Here's the simplest way to bring him back. Cole dies. Have his family killed. Have him resurrected, but he is blind because he couldn't have his eyes restored, along with, with the rest of his head like it would be. His family's killed. His armor converts and minimizes into a katana, like a golden bladed katana or something, like a Shira Ryu katana. Therefore, his ancestors or his family are in the blade, and then he will be able to wear a blindfold, and then he could say, you could literally have it happen like this, like where Raiden was like this, like, Cole, I'm sorry about your family. Hypothetically, they say, your family, I'm sorry, you know, just know that they're with you always. And Cole can just say, Cole died with them. I am reborn. My name is Kenshi. And their spirits will always be with me in my armor and in my sword. And then he puts the blindfold on. But to make it distinct, don't have him suddenly switch his colors to like red and black. Go still lean into the Shirai Ryu coloring. Give him maybe like golden black with hints of red in the outfit. You know, give him like the red blindfold, yes, but give him like black, gold, like black, yellow, and reddish attire. And then change the ability of his you know how his psychic color was like blue? Have it be maybe like green or gold or white. You know, something just to go again with the color scheme. And then boom, we not only have a movie version, I'm talking about a movie version of Kenshi. Or number 2, just fully resurrect Cole, but have him like leave with his family, therefore he gets a happy ending at least after, like, say whatever the hell he went through. Or if not, make him have Hanzo Hasashi finally pass to the afterlife to be with his family, but Cole will fill the void and he becomes Scorpion or a variation of Scorpion, so he can get revenge for what happened to him. So there's many ways to redo it to fit it back in line, but that's all I really gotta say about Cole. I feel like again, it's just like a picture I've seen, like a meme, where it says, what would you do, or what subject would you stand on and say, yes, you are all wrong? That would be this for Cole Young. I will stand on that hill and say, yes, people were all wrong about him. He was never given a fair chance, like, at all. He was never given a fair chance, but I hope the Mortal Kombat fans who wished for his death was happy, because it just continues to prove that Mortal Kombat fans, or fans of any fandom, they don't like anything new. They just want the same thing over and over and over, regurgitated over and over again. But then, when you give them what they want, which is the same thing over and over, they're still gonna bitch, cry, and complain. So, you just can't make no fandom happy, because no fandom, well, no one hates a series, a franchise, a show, or any IP more than its own fan base. I mean, look at the Star Wars fan base, for example. Look at the Call of Duty fan base, for example. They hate the franchise, but yet they continue to indulge in the franchise. Look to me as an example, everyone, as an equalist. Take what is good from the franchises, discard what is bad, and boom. Only indulge in both what is good or bad from the franchise, so you can at least say that you have the accumulated the knowledge of said book, game, movie, show, or whatever. So, yeah, that's really all I gotta say. I feel like I was able to successfully justify Cole, defend Cole, and my stance on him is not going to change, because I feel like if I let other people influence my thoughts and try to make me hate him, then I don't have my own independent thought. I would just be sharing the thoughts and having a more like a handheld like being coerced to agree rather than have my own point. So, this is Emperor John Kill 3D Gaming. I want you to be able to like, subscribe, favorite. Be sure to check out my next set of live streams I have coming up. Be sure to check out my next set of videos that I also have coming up. I also got some review shorts. I've been playing some more handheld. I also got something coming in from Amazon for the DS, so I'll also be able to talk about it and give you guys a little review short. But yep, I hope Cole Young gets restored in the future, and this time stick with him. Go against the haters. Don't let haters dictate the life of characters, because then that means that would damage whatever vision you had as a director for said character. So, yep. I hope you all have a good night, because it's like late as fuck while I'm filming this. This is video number 3, and I still have some others to go. So, take care, everybody, and have a great time.